Hello and welcome back to our homestead. Today I am going to be making more of these lightly salted cucumbers. I have a jar full that I made a week ago. They're not fermented, not at all. They're salted, but they're not those salted vinegary pickles that you're thinking about. These were just made a week ago, and let me tell you, they're delicious. Listen to the crunch. Mmm, so good. Just like Mama used to make. They're lightly salted because you use a whole lot less salt. But this is not a long-term preservation. This is a preservation of cucumbers because in abundance of cucumbers right now, we don't know what to do with them. We're eating them fresh, we're pickling them, we're fermenting them. But you want something now, right now, slightly salted, delicious, with all of the aromatics of the regular fermentation process that we use, or the pickling process of the dill and horseradish and bay leaves and pepper and garlic and all of that deliciousness. So let me show you how I'm going to make this lightly salted. In my language, we call it malasolne, meaning that they are salted lightly because we use less salt. And these will last in your fridge for about a month or two, but we eat so many of them that I have to make a big jar of it. But you're welcome to make a little bit. I remember my mama used to make them in any vessel she had, because when cucumbers come in, they all come in at once and you got to do something with them, right? So lightly salted. That's something that is not common in American cuisine, but it's very, very common in the Slavic Eastern European preservation method. So let me show you how I'm going to do it. Super easy, super cool. Okay, so the things we're going to need for this recipe, obviously I'm going to be using a very large jar. You can use any vessel you really want. I just prefer not to use plastic. And I'm going to make sure that I have a cover for this. Okay, so I'm going to need a jar. I'm going to need pickles. Actually cucumbers, and normally these big overgrown cucumbers are no good for anything else, but they're perfect for this recipe. So this is why I don't throw away a little bit overgrown, as long as they're still not bitter and fresh and good cucumbers. And this just came from the garden. We're also going to need dill. Let me tell you, friends, we need dill. And dill sometimes is still in a semi-seed state like this, or some of them already went into seed and they're already in the seed state. It's okay, it's fine. We can use them both. And if you have, like those crowns, and you still have some stems, they will work perfectly in this recipe. Okay, for the next aromatics, we're gonna need black peppercorns. Okay, if you have a mixture of red and white and black, that's fine too. And because I'm doing a big jar like this, I have, I don't know, about a tablespoon in here of black peppercorns. If you have juniper berries, also a good idea to add. We also definitely need to have garlic. How much garlic? It's really up to you. If you like a lot of garlic, you can put a lot. This is a small head of garlic. You don't need to peel them at all. All you need to do is either chop them or crush them, because we want this juice to come out. Okay, it's very important that this juice comes out. So I'm just gonna smash them, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here, but they're not very big. They're kind of small little cloves, but basically this was a 1 head of garlic. Then this is very optional. I usually don't use them, but my husband likes spicy, so I'm going to be using some hot pepper. And again, this is very, very optional. It can be completely omitted. As a matter of fact, this one that I made a week ago, it does not have any hot pepper here at all. Okay. Then the other ingredients that always are shown to be used in the Slavic Eastern European pickling methods is horseradish leaves. These are young horseradish leaves. You can find them on farmers market. You can ask farmers and homesteaders. I encourage everyone to grow this. They are so good for pickling. Then we have leaves of black currant, and I have a few leaves of black currant here from my bush, and cherry leaves. Okay, these are fresh cherry leaves. I've just washed them, and we're going to be using them as well. All of these ingredients are going to be important to add the flavor and the aroma to our pickles. Next thing, I'm also going to need water, and I'm boiling water. Yes, in this recipe, I'm going to need boiled water and salt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to the bottom of this jar, I'm going to be adding these leaves. You can cut them, you can just break them like I am, that's fine. So half of all the leaves, how many leaves? I don't know, probably 4 or 5 goes to the bottom, and then the rest will go on top. Cherry leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. Then I'm gonna throw a few of these garlic leaves. Then I'm gonna be putting some crowns of dill. These already went into seed, and some of them are still fresh. Okay, again, you can break them, you can cut them, it's up to you, it's whatever works for you. So I'm just gonna drop them all in here. Okay, so let me just cut a few pieces with seeds or without seeds, really, of these hot peppers. I'm gonna throw to the bottom. I don't know, let me add, oh, my water is boiling. I'm gonna turn that off. Again, I'm just gonna throw in a few of these crowns, and now save these guys for later. And now I'm going to be start adding the cucumbers. And the cucumbers, like I said, they're super overgrown. It will take a few days for them to get to the mild salty state that they're supposed to be. You can cut them in half or into spears, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use them just like this. I'm just removing the bottoms, like cutting them off, and I'm gonna stack them in here tightly next to each other. Next to each other. I'm gonna leave this one for later. Here's a little one. Okay, so if this was tiny, young, little cucumbers, I would be able to fit a whole lot more of them. But these one are slightly, as you can tell, slightly overgrown cucumbers, and not many gonna fit in here, but I'm still trying to stack them as close as I can to each other. Okay, let me see if I can push as many as I can in here. Yeah, push them as many as I can in here. And then I'm going to put the rest of as much as I can of these aromatics. It's like a puzzle. I have to fit them in here. That's like a puzzle. All right, maybe I can lay them down now. And I think I'm going to lay them down. Maybe this thin one will fit in the middle. Yes, I think he'll fit in the middle a little bit. And the rest I'm going to lay down. All right, I found a smaller one that will fit into that space there. There you go. Okay, so on the rest, I'm going to try to lay kind of like around as much as I can, okay, without crushing them, without breaking them. Because these cucumbers are so big, it's going to take a few days for them to obtain that mild salty flavor. Okay, I'm going to cut this one in half like this and lay him right here so he can fit better. Yes. So these cucumbers are going to start changing their color to a slightly yellowish, I would say. And it takes a few days. If these guys were little, they would be ready for consumption literally in 2 days, maybe 3. But because these guys are so big, it's going to take about 4 or 5 days. And then you open a jar and you crack them. So I'm adding now my aromatics. I'm going to just push them in here. Few leaves of different stuff. Again, I'm going to push them in here. Let me take this guy out. I don't like how he's sitting here. I don't like how he's sitting there. And just put all your aromatics in here. All your leaves are horseradish. Tear them up so more flavor will be exposed. Okay, push them into little nooks and crannies. Put the leaves of black currant. Okay. Okay, now let's add a few more crowns of dill in here. Couple of branches of dill. Make sure everything's nice and clean, of course. Mine is fresh from the garden. You know, I was just visiting my old country where I grew up, the country of Latvia. And at the farmer's market, I found that many vendors, especially just private older ladies, they were selling a lot of these aromatics already put together as a bunch of all these herbs together. So people who live in a city and don't have gardens and still want to do their pickling, because everyone pickles there, everyone makes pickles, they still can do this. Okay, so let me push this aside. I don't need this anymore for now. Okay, so let me add the peppercorns right to the top. I'm gonna add the remaining of these garlics. They're all smashed already. I'm gonna put them in here. I'm gonna cut a couple of more pieces of this spicy pepper. One more, just for good measure. And now at this point, I'm going to be adding the salt. But what's important is not how many cucumbers I use, and it's not important how many aromatics I use. It's all about the brine. So let me talk to you about the brine.
Важность заключается в концентрации рассола. Это не та же концентрация, которую я использую для ферментированных овощей. Ферментированные овощи требуют довольно много соли, чтобы подавить определенные бактерии и позволить молочно-кислому брожению происходить. Это слегка соленые огурцы. Хорошо? Это не те соленья, которые вы покупаете в магазине, в банке или достаете зимой из кладовой, где они с уксусом. Совсем другой процесс. Эти будут слегка солеными. Эти огурцы будут храниться в холодильнике и будут годны только около 1 или 2 месяцев. Но поверьте мне, мы едим их все время. Так что все дело в рассоле. Концентрация рассола очень важна для этих слегка соленых огурцов. Позвольте мне показать вам концентрацию. Это очень просто. Не стоит переживать, но важно помнить об этом.
Okay, the concentration for this lightly salted pickles is going to be 1 tablespoon without a heel of salt to 1 quart or 1 liter of water. And I'm using boiling water, okay? This is not like my cold water process. I'm using boiling water, okay? So let me just stir this around. It's gonna take a second to dissolve. And I am covering my cucumbers with boiling water. Trust me, they're still gonna be super crunchy, super, super fresh, delicious. And that is the method. Okay, so let's see how much it takes. Okay, it's hot, so I have to be careful. I should grab a towel. Okay, so let's see how many it will take. Okay, make sure the salt is dissolved. All right, so I definitely have to make more because there was a lot of space between those cucumbers. So let me make another quart. All right, again, another tablespoon of salt. And let me add the water. Stir this around. Hopefully I have enough water. Close enough. Let me stir this around. And we have to top everything off. And one of the important things to remember is that these cucumbers that are lightly salted have to be under this brine. All right, let me again use a towel because it's kind of hot. Sometimes it takes a whole lot less brine because it depends on how many cucumbers I was able to fit in here. I almost used up the entire 2nd liter. Okay, so at this point, I am going to put a cover on like this. Okay, not tightly, just loose. And I'm going to let it sit on my kitchen counter until they cool off. Okay, so now they're going to sit on my kitchen counter for a few hours until they completely cool off. And then I'm going to put them in the fridge. They have to sit in the fridge, okay? A few days. If they were little ones, they would have been ready for consumption in about 2-3 days. But because these guys are so big, it's going to take me longer. So if I had a mixture of very big cucumbers and little ones, I would have put the big ones at the bottom and little ones all at the top. Okay. And then the little ones would be ready to you for consumption a whole lot earlier. So put them in the fridge, let them sit for a few days. Take one out, slice it, add it next to your eggs, next to your chicken. Put it in a salad with fresh tomatoes and with some other fresh cucumbers. You can use this brine, okay? This brine that I made a week ago. And let me tell you, it is delicious. It is delicious. Fresh dill. Smell of garlic. Oh, so good. All right, so this is how I lightly salted. That's how I make lightly salted cucumbers. I don't know how else to translate. If any of my Eastern European friends are watching me and you know what I'm making, malasolne огурцы, can you help me to translate this to English? Because I'm not sure how to translate it. But this is how my mama made it. And we enjoyed this all summer long. She used to make them in a big vessel. It's like an old soup pot. And she would make it in that and keep it in the refrigerator. The other thing I remember Mama used to do is once we would eat the entire jar and there's a lot of brine left, she would add freshly washed cucumbers in there and continue the process. Just add a little extra salt because the cucumbers absorbed it. These cucumbers are not overly salted, not at all, but they have that nice crunch from all of these tannins, from all of these things that I added in here, the horseradish, the bay leaf, I didn't put bay leaf. Goodness, I forgot. Well, this one is going to be without bay leaf. Normally, Mama used to put bay leaf. So if you're writing things down, add a bay leaf as well. Horseradish leaf, black currant leaves, cherry leaves. So all of those things are tannins, and they make your cucumbers nice and crunchy. This boiling water is not going to cook them. Trust me, I've been doing this for years, and it's delicious. So on this note, friends, I hope you are encouraged to make my lightly salted cucumbers. Let me pull one out that I made. So delicious. Look at them. They're beginning to discolor to like a little bit of a lighter color green, slightly yellowish. Delicious. With your sandwich, so good. Be encouraged and try something new. So good. So good.